What? This one comes with a transformer? That changes the whole video. How are you doing? I hope life is treating you well. Today we are going to look at this smart doorbell, but instead of just, installing it, I'm going to talk a bit about how complicated that could be in a European environment and what you have to take into consideration. I got this Ubiquiti doorbell back in the day when they were just coming out with them, and I ordered one in the US and had it to a US shipping address and got it sent to Denmark using Shop USA. I wanted to do a video on that, but never got around to do it because, well, I started editing it and it seemed to be quite boring, so I just dropped making the video and went on to something else. But now this one blew up, stopped working. One day I was sitting watching YouTube and I got a notification on my phone that it went offline, and so I bought a new one. And today they have a more fancy pants version that's twice the price of this one, that has a camera here as well that can keep a lookout for your packages. This one was supposed to have that, I think, but they ditched it. And the reason I got the same one is that the other one is twice the price and I don't have that money. So, but I'm going to do a test setup here on my desk first, so we can have a look at what's different and why they don't work as well and what we need to do to get them to work. Great, so I thought I did have the old button for using for this video that I saved it, but apparently I did not, so I had to go to the hardware store and purchase a new one, completely unused. I suppose I should have done that already because I've been without a doorbell for half a year. Sort of now they're owned by Honeywell, but I think they were called Friedland or something like that, those who made these doorbells and buttons, and that's a kind of a joke when a third of the population in the country is called Friedland because they never bothered to insert their own name. I suppose I should have taken my channel name and put in here, so it was kind of like a hidden advertising or something like that. Hey, so anyway, I actually had two of these, one where the light was broken, so I had clever people. I was kind of forcing you to do it. This is just going to be an example, so it doesn't need to look very pretty. But one of the problems with these, when you're installing a smart doorbell, is of course that it runs on, well, it needs power all the time to run the camera and to run the lights and the screen and the Wi-Fi. Let's see if we can do this without drawing blood here. Yeah, so it needs power to go through the whole doorbell all the time, and that is sort of the problem that you get with a smart doorbell and trying to install it on an old system. Okay, let's see if this works. This is screwed in very poorly, but it is just for a test, right? So I think it's all right. I have my 8-volt power supply. Says 8 volt. 7. Let's give it a few more. Here we go. Okay, so now I have the ordinary doorbell button here we can press, and when we do that, and I have dampened the doorbell so it's not as loud, it works. It's pretty simple, right? One of the things you can see is that's important actually is, I don't know if you can see it, when I ring the bell, the light goes out, and that is of course because the electricity takes the path of least resistance, and there's quite high resistance in the incandescent bulb, much higher than just a short circuit that the button is, right? So when you press a button, it decides to go directly through into the doorbell. And the problem is when you have a smart doorbell, it uses so much current to keep the camera running, the lights, the screen, the Wi-Fi, then the current going through is sometimes enough to slightly activate the doorbell all the time. So some people said that they would hear some humming or slight buzzing all the time because this is simply used too much power. So they circumvented that, or they solved that problem after a few versions or revisions by including a thingamajig you put inside the doorbell, which I'm going to show you in a second. This is my original doorbell, 8 volt, but I replaced it with an American 16 to 24 volt doorbell just for fun, to Americanize my doorbell system. And I bought that on Amazon US. It was back in the day when you could order something from outside the country and not have import taxes when it was below, I think $12 or something like that. So I could get a doorbell for I think $10, $11. So I replaced mine with an American one. Even though I think it will work with this, you just get a much louder ding. But we're going to try that out in a second. So this is basically how it works. And when you replace it with a smart doorbell, you put this in instead. So one of the other problems I had was that, of course, using an 8-volt won't work. So I had to replace my power supply with something that would deliver 24-volt. And that might have been what made this go bang or made it stop working. Let me just show you that. So we have said goodbye to our 8-volt power supply, and this is my 24-volt power supply when it can deliver 12, 2 times 12 or 24 depending on how you're wiring it up. So I had to replace that in my, depending on where I live, electrical, in my fuse box, in my consumer unit, distribution, whatever you call it. That had to be replaced with this one. Right now I just have it in this test box here because it's slightly more safe. It is, let me just show you for safety. It is not connected right now. It is not connected. Anyway, but I think there was a problem with it. With this one, might have been too powerful because when I measured it last time, it delivered almost 30 volts. Now, if I connect my doorbell to here, of course, I will blow up this this little light bulb in here. It's only meant to take 8 volts, so we're not going to do that. That would be a pity, wouldn't it? So I'm just going to get rid of this. Yep, so let's loosen this up a bit for a little test setup here. And this says 1 and 3 gives 24 volts. And it was almost 30, so that wasn't too much of a good idea. Oh, there we go. So this says 8 actually. So this would be this one and this one, and of course the 230. Hey, this actually looks halfway decent, doesn't it? 0 and 24. Oh, so that's already open. Clever. They know we're going to use this anyway. Clever. Seems like a bit more like a quality product, this one. I'm going to cut this video a bit, just shorten it up a bit so it doesn't get too long, because otherwise this will take an hour. And you're probably not interested in watching that, I'm guessing. That will... I have to do some cuts here and there, otherwise we'll never get through this video. Okay. And I have a trade school education actually, so some of the jokes we had where we had to make this test mock-up house installation, and when we made the consumer units, and one of the fuses back then were like, I should call it mechanical, were the type that would melt, so we would put clear tape on someone's fuse, and then when they had to get the teacher and test their setup, it wouldn't work, and they would walk around and try to figure out what was wrong. And it was because we had put insulation or clear tape on their fuse, in the fuse box. Good harmless fun. Yeah, should we just put this on just for funsies? Let's do that. Power it up. I hear buzzing. Actually quite a loud buzzing. Let's see, this is floating now, so it should probably be high. Yeah, you see 27. That's way too much, right? So, better have a drink before it blows up. Cheers. Okay, let's connect the power and see what happens. No explosion so far, so good. Let's try to see the power here, the voltage rather. Hello, voltage. I do not get anything. This is a cheap multimeter, so it's 27.3. That's actually way too much, isn't it? It is. Should be 24. It might be because it's floating right now. There's no draw from it. So and since this is a transformer, so let's try to connect the old one. And when we're done doing that, we will connect the new one. I can't remember if it had any power draw after it blew up. Now I'm saying blew up. I don't actually. Oh, I should do the other way around, shouldn't I? I don't actually know what happened. I just got a notification that it has gone offline. Ah, did you hear that? It said. So there's some sort of power draw. It's still dead though. So let's see if it has pulled it down a bit. Yeah, 26. Not much, eh? So we have run it at 12. That would be half of that. That would be 14 volts. That would be 15. Should I run it on 12 instead of 24 and then get 14? Yeah, let's see what happens when we install the real doorbell, the one that's working. Let's have a look at the new old doorbell. Just had a look in my app for Ubiquiti on my phone, and it says that my old doorbell has been offline for 6 months. So I have been 6 months without a doorbell. Here we go. New old stock. Scan here to get started. Will do. And now I have 2 of these mount points. Well, I'll just reuse the old one I already have outside, so I just plug it in. Oh, yeah. Let's see. What? This one comes with a transformer? You're shitting me. What the hell? What? Jesus, so this is all in... Oh, I did not know that. So this was a waste of money. I have a cheap 24 volts for sale. Huh. Okay. I'll install this instead, and we'll have a look at it with this one, the new one instead. Be right back. Just before I drop this on the floor, here's the little thingamajig you put inside the doorbell. So I'm wondering what this is. But I assume this will let the current go past the doorbell, so the camera can run. So the doorbell can run without humming. And then I suppose maybe if the current reaches a certain level, it will send it to the doorbell. If you know how this works, let me know. Or maybe I could take the old one apart. Now I have 2 of them, you know. Good. Well, now I have plenty of transformers at least. So what does this say? 1. Oh, this is small, isn't it? 1 and 4 is 16 volts. And of course, 5 and 6 is 230. Huh. There might be a chance that the doorbell will actually run for a lot longer. But let's see if it's actually 16 volts. It's interesting that I can't buy 16 volts here in Denmark. This probably is more than 16 until we put some load on it. But that's what we're going to test. Why didn't I know that this included a transformer? That's actually, that changes the whole video. So it's not going, but it changes it for the better, I guess. It's useful information, I suppose. I think it's quite a good idea for them to include a 16 volt transformer, seeing as I have been looking on so many websites and everywhere trying to find something that could deliver 16 straight up, but it was always the 12 or 24. It did seem to run a bit hot in terms of volts compared to what we needed. So, okay. Excellent. Plugging in now. Nothing went boom, and it seems to be more silent. Excellent. This one shows 20 volts, 21, and there's not a load on it. Okay. So let's pretend we are installing this out on my door, and let's see what happens. I'm quite happy with this. There's a chance. Well, since it's 20 volts now, it won't. It's within specifications at least, so that's quite good. I did bundle some of the networking, the strands of networking wire together to have less of a voltage drop or less of a power drop in the installation, but I suppose that isn't necessary. We are soon clear, ready to power this thing up. And let's see if it starts buzzing. This is brand new, and I swear when I saw the first one that it had a color screen when it booted up the first time, and then I only have seen black and white after that. So yeah, it's a bit janky, but it's okay. It's just testing. Connecting power again. Let's see what happens. Ubiquiti. It's booting. And while it boots, let's check the voltage. Not that it matters for now. Starting up. Okay. Ready for setup. Okay. And let's check. It's 20 volts still, but that's fine. Yep. Download the app. Found. Add. Yes, sir. Camera adopting. Connecting to Wi-Fi. Very calming. This is almost like a wind chime, isn't it? Camera lost power. Welcome. I might be up booting or something. Updating. I'll just have a drink. Updating firmware. Welcome. I think it's working now. Let's see. And I can hear myself twice. This is going to get some echo. Okay. It's working. That's interesting. Oh, I have to stop this one. Let's stop the computer. Stop the phone. So the first time I got. That's interesting. Just should we try to install this one and see what happens? Anyway, the first time I got this one, when I pressed the doorbell, it would take many seconds before I started reacting. But later on it became more instant. So, okay. Let's power it down and try to insert this and see if that will do anything. Starting up. Yes, sir. It takes a bit of a time. Welcome. And my phone says it's back online. Cool. Nothing happens. Ringing. No. Now it doesn't even react. It did do that with the old one. It did work. That's interesting. I'm not sure why. Okay, so I can't tell you why. Oh, you know what? Might have to. Hang on. Might actually have to set that in the configuration of the camera. Hang on. Camera settings. Oh. Mechanical. So we have to set a mechanical chime. Okay. Let's try now. Oh, let's put this in again. There we go. Fantastic. So actually, let me get out of this. So actually what you saw before we had set it to mechanical chime was actually that it moved just because it drew more power. And it was the extra power usage that made it move. And now when I set it to mechanical, it works better. So should I try it again with these without these ones? Nah, why? Who cares? We don't want to see that, do we? Anyway, I'll install this outside, and I have a doorbell again after 6 months, and I can only blink myself. So if nothing else happens, this will be the end of the video. And if I run into more problems, there'll be an add-on after this. If not, see you next time. Cheers.